Hi there. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We last left off having finished talking with Daily Vigil, learning about the past, a little bit about, the present, and how Daily would impersonate old Tobias Gregson. And, once again, we're left with more questions and answers, as it is. But now we can follow up on what we learned by going back to, what's his name? Oh yeah, Barry Caden. Seeing if we can learn anything from him about the past. Because, I mean, he is the prison governor, so clearly it feels like he has some kind of greater knowledge of what went down all those years ago. I forgot, he always likes to have his fucking back first to us. Also, you gotta get to do my Scottish accent again, which is so amazing and wonderful. Oh, back again, are ya? Yeah. Hello. I've heard all about your investigations. I read the report just now. Oh, have you now? Ah, you found them, eh? Vigil. Yes, luckily. Well, anywho, the laddie does not work here no more. So, your case is not to do with Barclay. I would now like ya. Now get the wrong... sorry. I would not like you to get the wrong idea about that. Of course, yes. Mr. Vigil stopped working here 10 years ago now, so... Yes, we've seen his dismissal notice, haven't we? Ah, he was given the chop! Okay, that's a bit of bad taste at a prison. And also given his fancy clock. Aye, Timmer, you ken very well. So, how about a wee handcuff biscuit? Oh yeah, I forgot, he likes tea and biscuits. What a dainty fellow, despite his imposing appearance. Oh, they really are like little handcuffs. And as hard as irons too. Well, that didn't sound very appetizing. So, what's brought you down here what's brought you to Doon here this day? Well, there's something else we'd like to ask you about, actually. Is that so? We believe there might have been a document that disappeared from Genshin Asogi's cell. I think it's been called the Asogi Papers or something. Any thoughts on that? Did I not say? Gregson's death is not to do with things that might have happened at Barclay. Leave the past in the past, laddie. Let's not foot about with irrelevant details. His expression's changed completely. I mean, has it? Kind of looks like he started, brushing his hair back, all slick like. We're clearly onto something here. Yeah, I figured this would all be the same. Let's see. Oh well, we can just talk and go from there if we have to present anything else. Ah, that murderous botched execution. The whole miserable escape. They were Barclay's darkest hour, aye? A shocking embarrassment. Yeah, I can imagine it didn't look very good. for the prison back in the day. Because the convict had a collaborator on the prison staff, you mean? Aye, for shame. The coroner who confirmed the death of the man after his execution. Courtney Scythe. Hey, we remember her. Let's see. And my chief warder at the time, Vigil. I was in charge of the whole affair. But Mr. Vigil says he didn't know anything about it. The rascal wouldn't. I don't know how you should say wouldn't. Again, I'm not from Scotland. The rascal wouldn't say otherwise, eh? What handcuffs? Oh! How could I say no? You can never have too much iron in your diet. I mean, that actually made out of iron. When Mr. Vigil was handed his dismissal notice as a result of what had happened, he was so despairing he jumped out of your office window, didn't he? I do not like to say, but that's just Vigil trying to get out of it. Do you not think he would not... Do you not think he would have jumped... He wouldn't have jumped from the shock of his crimes being exposed, eh? I do. You wouldn't say otherwise, though, would ya? Of course, I cannot share no responsibility myself. I should never have let him deceive me. I'm not good at that. Well, I'm gonna make do, I guess. Actually, there's barely anybody that counts what we're told at the time now. With Gregson having been murdered and Dr. Sykes forbidden from having any visitors. No visitors? Someone obviously doesn't want her giving anything away. Yeah, I can imagine. Well, we're not going home empty-handed. Huh. And I would not dream of sending you packing with naught, Kimmer. Here, take a handcuff or two. Oh, well, it would be rude to say no. Wouldn't want to become anemic. I suppose if there's anybody who might still ken about what happened back then, it'd be that last from the forensic division, Gorey. Not Mariah Carey, Jesus Christ. Maria Gorey? Aye, Sykes' daughter. She did not have no more. Just the one. But the wee barons followed her in her man's footsteps. You did not ever see her without a scalpel in her hand. Ah! I do recall seeing her in the third case, or last case rather. At least briefly. Mama, what is this? Ah! Where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama? Dr. Sykes' daughter, Maria Gorey. I'm gonna keep calling her fucking Mariah, apparently. We could do with talking to her. So, she's Dr. Sykes' daughter, but her surname is Gorey. Aye, there's some family history, I'm sure, but I do not ken the ins and outs of it. She grew up watching her man working with the bodies of the folk who died in strange circumstances, and decided to do the same with her own life. I cannot understand it myself. Perhaps she was driven by a deep respect for her mother. Perhaps. Anywho, she was in charge of Gregson's autopsy, I believe. I do remember, yeah, we did learn that. Right. And the coroner responsible for this incomplete report. Someone told me once that the wee lassie always loved her mam's stories about cutting up bodies. There's even a rumour that she used to listen to the funeral march as a lullaby. God, what a fucking golf queen. Am I right? Well then, perhaps her mother might have told her about the autopsy from the case 10 years ago. Aye, I'd say there's a fighting chance at least. After all, that was a life-changing case for all of us. We really need to speak to Miss Gorey about herself about this, I think. Well, thank you very much. I'm no happy about any part of this. It took years for Londoners to finally forget the whole professor business. Can you not give up on this, laddie? Stop asking pointless questions. I'm sorry. I don't like dredging up these painful memories for everyone. Can you not just stay away, now? Leave me alone, and do not come back here, eh? I mean, that's not the Ace Attorney way, you know. Even if, you know, remembering the past and uncovering the truth and all that business was, you know, it's unpleasant and it might hurt along the way, but, you know, it's usually for the best. So, I'm sorry, but we aren't gonna just, you know, let bygones be bygones. Especially when there's still, you know, all these lingering questions about what happened. How'd you come to ken about that, laddie? Okay, remember, Ryunosuke, don't rat out Vigil. He specifically told us not to tell anyone that we told him, or that he told us. I mean, there's not many folk even here in the prison who've heard of those papers. Ah, well, I can't tell him Mr. Vigil told me. I don't want to be a fucking snitch. I'm afraid our sources must remain confidential, sir. We've been led to believe the papers are actually a last will and testament. Is that right? The professor's, or rather, Genshin Asogi's. Aye, that's alright. You're well informed, Jimmy. Actually, my name's Ryunosuke. Oh! Is that the end of the silent treatment? But then, after the convict's execution, it mysteriously vanished from his cell, didn't it? Haver is no. You're off at half-cock there. I think you did not quite get your facts straight. It was there in the cell, exactly where it should have been. Huh. That goes against what old Daly told us. Oh. Not what we heard elsewhere. Let me just have a wee hulk around in here. I'm sure I can find it. Aye, here we are. See. The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi. Written with a calligraphy brush. Well, there it is. I guess it did not vanish without a trace after all. Of course, I cannot read a word of those Japanese squiggles. But I mind it says he leaves all his worldly possessions to his son back in his homeland. Yes, that's correct. That's the gist of it anyway. Oh yeah, I guess, yeah, well, can I see it? Or can we translate it for the player? I would like to know. So these are the Asogi papers. Aye, of course they are. Papers written by Asogi, no doubt about it. There's no mystery here, laddie. That's your lot. After all the skirmish of that slicer of an execution. Stramish? Slicer? And I don't know what those words mean, but I can hazard a guess. We sent man's possessions back to his clan in Japan, and that was the end of it. I think we ought to make a record of this, Mr. Naruhodo, just in case. The Asogi papers have been entered into the court record. Here I am thinking he's Magnus McGilded. One thing before you go on your way, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh? Yes? Those papers are not to do with Gregson's death. I'd prefer it if you did not make no mention of them outside this office. Outside this office. Or rather, I would not just prefer it. Consider it an order from the highest levels of our government. I understand. And let's actually see that for ourselves real quick. Last will and testament of Genshin Asogi. I, Genshin Asogi, hereby request that upon my death, any and all material possessions and wealth belonging to me in London be delivered to my son, Kazuma Asogi, in the Empire of Japan. It is with deep sadness that I accept my fate in this foreign land, in the knowledge that I will never see my homeland or family again. But I regret nothing about my chosen path. I mean, that seems fairly standard, all things considered. I don't know if I would consider. I'm not sure what about that would be the only weapon that he would have left. Though, to be honest, it did seem like he was being kind of dismissive, defensive. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm thinking of. It did seem like he was trying to make light of the papers. He clearly doesn't want us looking into this any further, I suppose. But okay, that was a relatively brief conversation. And besides the Gorey stuff, though, didn't learn a whole lot. I mean, other than the fact that the will was in fact found, which goes against what Vigil told us, which is quite strange. Oh well. Now that we've finished talking to him, we can go have a little confab with Dr. Gorey. Okay, gotta say, the lab looks a little different than I remember. Don't remember all those creepy dolls and such. This place really is creepy, isn't it? Well, being a dead room, it's probably full of the spirits of the dissected. But actually, there's a rather pleasing scent of roses in the air. Well, being a dead room, the corner probably needs a bold scent like that to mask the odor of death. Okay, geez, don't be such a fucking morbid Molly, Iris. Jeez. Iris, do you think we could change the subject? Shink. Oh, well. What was that? Sounds like someone sharpening their tools. And there she is. Ah, Dr. Gorey? Hi. What? That noise before. I was sharpening my tools. Well, yeah, see, I knew it. I'd be dead meat if I didn't keep a perfectly keen edge on them. Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of, direction I should go for her. Right. When following the collagen fibers in the dermis, an expertly sharpened scalpel cuts like cheese. Would you like a demonstration? Oh, yes, please! I'd love to see. Oh, well, I guess that's, two doctors, getting along nicely. Well, then, I think you'll do nicely. Huh? No! No, I wouldn't do nicely at all. I mean, maybe some other time. Tch. Was that a tut? Well, we came here to ask questions, so... Well, frankly, I'm kind of curious about the new decor. This looks different to before. Of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Miss Gorey is a young maiden. She has all sorts of charming little dolls and the like around her place of work. Look! Oh, yes, you're right. Perhaps she's not so strange after all. There are how I practice. Sorry. Mama always says that operations and dissections require speed and accuracy. So I take out my needle and thread and stitch 3 new dolls every day. Ah, right. I used to make livers and kidneys or intestines, but Mama told me to make something more friendly instead. Huh. That's, quite different to what I'd imagined. Well, I mean, you know, it's still charming in its own way. And, you know, it is good practice, you know? What about these, though? Look at all the bottles on the shelves in these cabinets. What an assortment of chemicals. These ones here are labeled highly toxic. Ugh, that's worrying. Because there are also things that look like salt and pepper shakers in there. Oh, yes! And they actually say salt and pepper on them. I'm not sure if you should be mixing your peppers, your spices, and your, you know, your toxic chemicals. The doctor probably spends a lot of time in this room, I suppose. Perhaps she has meals here sometimes. Life goes on, even when you're surrounded by death. That's really deep of you, Ryunosuke. A table and a set of sharp tools. When you consider each other each in isolation, it all looks quite innocent. So why is it that when you put them side by side, they seem so horribly disturbing? It might be best not to ponder it too deeply. That's Mama's dissection table. It's too high for me, though. It is. If I fell from that height in my sleep, it would really hurt. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to sleep on a dissection table. What? You mean you sleep in here? Autopsy work is very involved. It's usually too late to think about going home when I'm finished. But I have bad dreams when I sleep here, and I always end up falling onto the floor. Well, geez, maybe you should invest in a proper bed. So I'd like to exchange that table for a lower one. Maybe you should just go home. What's these? Is that a fucking, like, spinal cord up there? Jeez. These large jars seem to have pale things floating around inside them. I suppose, fruit liqueurs or something. Or like the pickled umeboshi plums we make back home. Yes. Let's assume there's something completely innocent like that. Ah! That jar you're looking up there contains monkey brains. Oh my. The composition is similar to the human brain, so they make for interesting study material. And in the next jar along, we have monkey... No more monkey anythings. Please. If you say so. Oh dear. The time when I still thought it was just some pickled umeboshi plums Seems so long ago already. Is something else I'm missing? Oh, here's that skeleton, of course. Well, look at this. What a magnificent display case. The cherry wood has been polished to a high sheen, and the intricate carving is a joy to behold. Man, look at fucking, Ryunosuke the Carpenter over here. Western cabinet makers are really very skilled, aren't they? It's 10 people. Pardon? It's made from the bones of 10 different people, all mixed together. Some of my best work. I'm pretty sure you can't make furniture. Well, I'm gonna assume you're just joking, pal. I was admiring the case, actually. The scary skeleton inside is something I intend to ignore as best as I can. You're strange. I wonder who is the strangest. Okay, the fact that she thinks I'm the strange one, I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or an insult. That looks like an owl and a crow up there. I know. And they haven't even twitched since we came in here. Well, no, they wouldn't have. They're taxidermy mounts, Mr. Naruhodo. I was afraid you were going to say that. Oh, I guess Ryunosuke's creeped out by taxidermy animals. I've been trying very hard to tell myself that they're just sleeping with their eyes open. Yes, I think perhaps you were wise to put something like your Dharma doll on display in the office instead. Indeed. Now then, about the autopsy report, Miss Gorey. What the fuck was that about? We have actually met before. I'm a lawyer, if you remember. You're not dead yet. What? So, Mama said I wasn't to cut you open. She's so strict about things like that. You mean, you can't go cutting up alive people, you know? Well, good? Dr. Scythe has some scruples, at least. Oh dear. It looks like she's not interested in talking to us. For the time being, anyway. For the time being? You mean, until we die? I hope that's a ways off. Sorry, but, I wasn't planning on dying anytime soon. Surely there's some less drastic way of making her listen. Well, I guess we'll just have to present the autopsy report directly. Yo, check this shit out. Dr. Gorey, we actually came here to ask you about this. He was very good. Good? Sorry? His skin didn't snag my blade once. And very little mess. His joints dislocated easily, and his muscle tissue was a pleasure to work with. That's a interesting way to describe it. Well, we can skip those details. But there is one thing about the report that's caught my attention. You don't seem to have recorded a time of death. Gah! Oh, well, geez, actually, she took her mask off. That's not my fault. Oh, that made me jump. Then please, tell us what happened. Okay, well, at least now she'll, chat with us. So, Why doesn't this autopsy report include the victim's time of death then? It's really the most crucial detail. I was told not to write it. What? By whom? Male Strongheart, the Lord Chief Justice. He came here. Lord Strongheart came? He said that from the witness statements about the gunshot and the other evidence, it was obvious. The man clearly died at 5 p.m. on the 1st of November, when the gunshot was heard. But that's not the time of death that you wrote on the report. You didn't write anything. Was there some reason you didn't include it? Either way, the fact that, the Lord Chief Justice was apparently, intervening in these things, that's pretty sus, you might say. Dr. Gorey, if you're hiding something under Lord Strongheart's instructions, then sooner or later, you're going to go the same way as your mother. Oh, damn. Ryunosuke fucking cutting to the point. Huh. We'll give it here, then. What's she scribbling so furiously? There. You've written... What? What? What's she written? Tell us. They said in unison. Indeterminate. But... the details of the autopsy report have been updated in the court record. What the fuck are we supposed to do with indeterminate? That's not very convenient or helpful. What do you mean by that? Why was the time of death indeterminate? When the specimen was brought in, it was still fresh, so the time of death could easily have coincided with when the gunshot was heard. But there was one small discrepancy. What discrepancy? There was some fried fish in the pocket of the specimen's overcoat. And that fish had started to rot. What? If the victim liked fried fish, he presumably liked to eat it before it went off. Well, yes. What are you really trying to say? It's possible that someone tried to manipulate the apparent time of death. Manipulate the... Is that even possible to do? Huh. Theoretically, if you were to chill the body in ice, you could delay the onset of putrefaction. And if the overcoat wasn't on the body at the time, then only the fish would have started to rot. With today's science, it's not yet possible to determine if the body was chilled or not. But today's science is advanced enough to let you freeze a corpse, it seems. Yeah, I mean, this is a time period where, they don't have... The technology is not fully developed, but, I guess it was sort of in the works. But surely, to chill a corpse like that would require an enormous electrical refrigerator. And I don't imagine many households in London are equipped with such a device. No, definitely not. But maybe in a factory, or some other special places. I don't recall seeing any factories or such like on Fresno Street, though. I wonder if the inspector's body had been chilled somehow. What might the actual time of death have been? I don't know, it's hard to pin down a distinct voice for her. I couldn't say for sure. But at the most, it might have been a day earlier. No. In other words, It would corroborate your previous deduction, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, we had speculated that before. That Inspector Gregson was killed a day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Did you inform Lord Strongheart of this possibility? He simply said that there were no electrical refrigerators of that size in the vicinity. Oh, yes. One other thing. It's something that the governor of Barclay Prison told us. He said that your mother, Dr. Scythe, was responsible for confirming the death of the professor after his execution. The professor? Apparently you always enjoyed listening to your mother's stories about her work, so we were wondering if you might know something about what happened 10 years ago. That's not all Mama did. Sorry? My Mama carried out the autopsy of Clint Van Zeeks as well. What? Really? Damn, she was fucking cutting up lots of goddamn people, it seems. The brother of Lord Van Zykes. The professor's final victim. The idea of carrying out an autopsy on the member of the aristocracy was completely unthinkable back then. The detective in charge of the investigation insisted, and it was miraculously authorized. That detective being Inspector Gregson, of course. Quite an accomplishment for one man. Indeed. That autopsy provided the vital clue needed to arrest the killer. And Mama was there for that historic event. What does all this mean? You know, that amazing autopsy happened right here in this very room. The Professor and Clint Van Zeeks. They both spent their final moments before their burial on that dissection table there. So this lab, Mama's lab, was instrumental in some of the country's most important events. She really is proud of her mother. I wonder if you'd tell us more about exactly what happened back then, Dr. Gorey. Oh, okay, good. I mean, nothing updated, so I wasn't sure if it had changed, but okie dokie. Also, this episode is going to be a bit of a long one, but I'm sure it'll be okay. The professor's execution was Mama's first big case. She had to be in attendance at Barclay's Prison's execution chamber and sign the certificate to confirm the convict's death. My Mama is the best coroner in the world, you know. I was so proud of her. But the execution didn't actually take place. No. And worse still, Mama actually helped with the jailbreak. I didn't want to know. Oh dear. You found out recently, you mean? I believed in her. In Mama, but now I wonder if I'm starting down the same path as her. You mean, because you omitted the time of death on this autopsy report? That's because Lord Strongheart forbade you from including it. Just like Mama. I'm sure she was coerced by somebody too. Yes, that's my feeling as well. There's no doubt that there were powerful forces at play 10 years ago. The execution couldn't have been staged without a lot of the people at the prison knowing about it. Obviously, the prison governor must have been in on it as well. Ah, the big man with the little handcuffs. According to what he told us, he was tricked by the chief warder. He says he knew nothing about it. Of course he said that. I'd say the same thing. Just who was behind that jailbreak all those years ago? You mentioned the autopsy of Clint Van Zeeks. It was at a time when carrying out autopsies of murder victims was very unusual. It's still not a practice that's observed in our country, even now. It turned out that he was the professor's final victim, and when the autopsy was performed, Mama was present, although only as the secondary assistant. The person leading the procedure was called Dr. John H. Wilson. Doctor? Oh, that's a name we've heard before. That's right! My daddy! And there was one other person present. The primary assistant. He was a visiting student from the Far East. Wait. A visiting student? It must have been my father, Eugen Mikotoba. I had no idea Professor Mikotoba had been involved in something so important. I'm sorry. But the outcome of that historic autopsy was the discovery of a vital piece of evidence that led to the capture of the professor. So that's how they came to identify Genshin Asogi as the infamous mass murderer. Do you happen to know anything about that piece of evidence? Can you tell us any more? Would you like to see the records for yourself? What? Would that be alright? Well, what's the point of keeping records if people can't look at them? They're filed under V at the back of those cupboards, with the other records from the last decade. Thank you. Let's see. Van Zykes. That's strange. What, Mr. Naruhodo? They aren't here. There's nothing under Van Zykes. Now that smells like a cover-up. That must be. Perhaps somebody took them away. No! No one's allowed to take documents related to the Professor case out of this room. You're right. They're gone. Well, when was the last time somebody looked at them? Do you remember? It was... Oh, yes. I remember now. It was 2 years ago. And what are you fucking looking at? The ceiling? A consulting detective came one day, saying that he'd like to see the records. No, you don't mean... Herlock Sholmes was his name. Herlock... Excuse me? Why would he want to look at the records like that? Keep down. I knew that was coming. You knew that was coming? I sure didn't. Do you think he stole the records? Oh no! Surely not. Iris, that can't be right. Can it? Iris? Well, damn. We're gonna have a fucking chat with Herlock. Reuno. I hope you don't mind, but... What is it, Iris? I've just remembered something very important I have to do. I'm going to have to leave you now. Oh, this is very sudden, Iris. Well, we'll come with you then. Oh, no. No, there's no need. You and Reuno can take your time here. Bye for now, then. Good luck. Well, Man, everyone's being suspicious now. Wait a minute, little girl. Me? I remember now. You've been here before, haven't you? Have you, Iris? Yes, 2 years ago, when that detective came. You were with him, weren't you? You were a living specimen then, too. I mean, that's the way it usually works, yes. Was I? I really don't remember. Anyway, sorry, but I must dash. Wait, Iris? I'll brew up a pot for you when you get home. What's the matter with her? She's behaving really strangely all of a sudden. Well, how about them cowboys? Well, in that case, we won't keep you any longer either. It's been quite a while since I had any visitors. This was really fun. Well, glad someone had a good time, I guess. But next time you come, I'd prefer it if you were ready for dissection. And of course you had to go and make it fucking weird. Like, jeez. I can't make any promises. Sorry. It's a bit strange that the records of Clint Van Ziek's autopsy have disappeared. But I think we've asked all we came to ask now. And I think now is as good a time as any to wrap things up. Yeah, this one's definitely a little bit longer than the most recent episodes have been, but that's not always a bad thing, you know? It's not bad to have some longer episodes now and then, you know? Plus, we did make a lot of progress, so, you know, that's good at least. And once again, I gotta say though, the more you learn, the more questions I have. Like, why the hell did Herlock take? Well, why would Herlock have taken Clint Van Ziek's autopsy report? And just who the fuck was behind the cover-up at the with the the professor business? I mean, I'm sure we'll figure it out eventually, but man, it's like they keep fucking dangling these chains, these little crumbs in my face, and I want more, you know? I guess that's how, good mysteries work, I suppose. But anyway, I guess next time we'll probably go back to the agency and try and see if we can have a talk with Herlock about his suspicious behavior. But until then, though, I'll see you around.